Welcome to the Mixtape Lounge. Carey Stinson, Josh Martin. How are you, Mr.
I'm
Martin?
great. How are you, my brother?
Man, I am good. I am good. What's been going on?
Oh my goodness. I've had a few weeks off, so I've been trying to catch up around the house. And I haven't. But I've tried. I've tried. So,
all you can do.
that's it. Yeah. I made the effort. I got farther than I was at the beginning. So,
Well, there's a lot to be said for that.
right?
A lot to be said for that.
I try to keep that philosophy.
Yes, just keep going. Just keep going.
Right? How about you?
Man,
how's your week?
Yeah, no, it's good. Everything's good. Doing a lot of photography and just going, and doing the same thing. I've trying to get as much as I can. Feel like I get close, and then it goes. Hey, we got to do some shout outs. We've been getting messages from people just digging Mixtape Lounge. I had someone emailed me the other day and was like, Creech was awesome. Just love Creech. Love what you're doing. Keep it going. The comments on YouTube are awesome. So we really appreciate it. We love having you guys on this show. We're having a blast doing this. Yeah. It's just really the beginning. We just got so much coming up in the pipeline. I love the fact, Josh, you've got your Majambu shirt on today.
You know this. Little foreshadowing.
Yeah, seems like a good reason to do that today. We are fortunate once again. We're going to bring you all kinds of different guests, and we got one of Josh's partners, as you would say, on the show today.
That's right. My partner from way back all the way to acting school. And we've been friends ever since then. And he's my good friend, best friend in the world, Mr. Chris Rager, aka Mr. Satan.
And here he comes. Be ready, get ready. I've known Chris forever too. And I'm thrilled to have him on this show. Chris, what's going on?
Hello and hello. I don't know what else to
say. and hello.
Man, we've been talking on this show about you guys getting ready to go out to Midland. So it seemed appropriate to have you on this week.
All right.
Right. We are headed out down further south tomorrow, actually. So
right. Midland, Odessa, Middesanime. Did I say that right? I try. I don't know.
I really don't know how to pronounce it, and I think they should change that because it is hard to say.
Well,
it doesn't quite make the connotation of Midland, Odessa, and anime. That doesn't flow off the tongue. I say anime, but then listen anime. There's no way to combine those to make it flow properly, in my opinion.
Well, and we all know your opinion, no matter what.
Usually it's the right one.
You guys have done a bunch of conventions in Midland, if I remember correctly.
We did do one, but like a couple of years ago.
And what's the crowd like in Midland?
Boy, I wished we were in Odessa.
But they're pretty close. They're
very close together.
Yeah,
I think there'll be some easy enough access to make traffic.
Right, but I felt like the people from Odessa, they don't go to Midland. But the people from Midland, they go to Odessa.
Well, listen, next show I will follow up on exactly what did.
Well, I just if I could speak to the mayor and maybe the city manager, I believe they should have those statistics and be able to bust them out.
Well, I'm sure that you could request them.
Well,
I mean, it's a simple request.
you know, you can kind of take a little running tally this weekend. You know, see, did you come from Midland? Are you from Odessa? See where people
Right.
are from?
I bingo. That
We'll
I
do
will
that.
do
Okay. Hey, all right. Hey, man, thanks for coming. Are you from Midland or Odessa?
that. Right.
I have a feeling Chris will lead that with that.
Right, but I want to do it like in a judgmental way.
Of course.
Like, are you from Midland or Odessa? You know, just implying that either one or the other is better than the other.
Right.
And, you know, let's be clear, one of them is better than the other.
Ladies and gentlemen, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Chris Rager.
So how's it been?
We should be able to lay out the facts, people.
So what's it like doing these conventions?
I mean, it's an honor and a great amount of fun to be able to travel around the country and meet a bunch of new people, meet fans, and you know, just have the honor of being able to do that, where people come to who want to give you money for your autograph. I mean, if you're the type of person who's in that kind of situation, you should be very honored, in my opinion. Because, I mean, I feel, and I'm sure Josh and I, we both discussed this many times, that you know, it beats digging ditches is a thing we say often, and it certainly does. You know, we're getting well taken care of. People are telling us that we're great and we're awesome, and they like the things that we're in. I mean, occasionally people will be like, "Oh, I don't like Mr. Satan because of this, that," and then I got to lay down the law.
Yeah, he does.
And then I got to let them know just how pivotal Mr. Satan is. I mean, I play other characters, but you know, I'm a little sensitive when it comes to Mr. Satan.
I love it.
But yeah, we have a great time. The shows are awesome. I've only ever had one bad time at a convention. I'm not even sure we should talk about it, but we had an instance where it didn't go so well, and you know, there were issues with us and the showrunners or whatever. But that happened one time. It was a very small con, but for the most part, and usually every time, we have a great time, and happy to be there.
Well, and as I saw, you also get beverage mugs, as I saw gifts.
What was that? I'm sorry.
These gifts that I've seen, by the way, these beverage mugs. Look at that, the Mahjong Boo.
Show us yours.
Oh,
I showed you mine. Show me yours.
Look at that.
Don't we look alike a little bit?
Please get that off your chin and go for it. Just do it.
I can't grow. It doesn't grow down like that. Like there's a real, like I'm growing the mustache long on this on the ends.
Yeah.
So they can fill that gap.
Yes. Now get that off your chin and you are Mr. Satan.
Probably. I mean, the afro.
Oh, you can do that easy with that.
I mean, I could. I got pretty curly hair, but
yeah, you can. Let's go for it.
That white man's afro has never been the best hairstyle. I think you should go for it, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's not the first choice that I'd go for,
right.
But I mean, come on, you can do it. I think you should.
I could pull it off, but I know the fact that you think I should, that's a little disturbing, because I'm pretty sure I shouldn't.
Well, okay. I tried.
I have a lot. I mean, people don't tell you, Josh, you know what you should do is paint your entire body pink. Put holes in the top of your head and attach an antenna type thing.
But listen, if I could grow a horn like you can grow an afro, I'd go for it.
Is that a horn though? Really? Is that a horn?
I mean, it resembles.
I mean, I'm
I'll tell you
asking.
what.
I really don't know. I mean, is that what the way it's been described, that he has a horn up there?
Well, in nature, it resembles. There are some ducks with growths on their head. You know, it kind of what's that?
Man, what kind of
sea
duck
monster?
are you hanging out with? I never seen no duck with no.
Oh, I look it up. I'll get some images. We'll put it right here in the screen.
I mean, I don't doubt that nature does peculiar things.
Yeah.
But to call that a horn, I mean, a horn is pointy. Yours has a little roundness at the top, almost a little ball.
Yeah.
But now, Josh, let's talk about
How about an appendage? I'm sorry, go on.
the commitment that you made for Ryman and Steelan that you did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I shaved the logo on the back of my head, or I had it done, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, here's what's crazy about you mentioning that. I did that on the day of the event that Chris mentioned was the worst event we ever did. We did that event later on. I did Ryman and
Later
Steelan
on
show.
that day, you had Ryman and Steelan shaved in your head?
No. I had it done for the whole weekend because we had a show that Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
I showed up. I had it in the back.
I didn't get to see this hairstyle.
You did. You just didn't pay attention as usual. Thanks. No, okay.
No, I mean that makes sense.
We will be showing the picture. I got a picture
That
of it.
track.
There you go. That tracks. It's not something that you would necessarily pay attention to. I think we were more paying attention to the fact that there was nothing going on and worried about whether or not we were going to get our money, which eventually took like 4 years. Literally. Anyway.
But that's not usually the case. Usually the case, these things are great.
Oh,
Fans
no.
pack it out.
Yeah. 99% of the time, we have a good time. You know, we usually, because we have per diems for these things, we kind of save that money for like a nice meal. So at least for one day out of the weekend, we sit down and have a good meal, like a good steakhouse kind of meal. You know, get a good piece of meat. Typically, that's what we do. Like, you know, almost like a fine dining experience, but not like super crazy. And I enjoy them personally because I know that weekend I'm going to go have a nice meal. You know,
I like being able to meet some of the other actors in the business too. At some of those dinners as well. Sometimes just in the lobby bar.
Right. Because you're not, I mean, while the convention is happening, you're not really getting to interact because you're all at your tables and that kind of thing. But yeah, you
Who are
hang
some
out
of the
with
coolest
them,
people
get to
you
meet
met?
new people.
There you go, Chris. You heard him.
Who are some of the coolest people you met hanging out at the lobby bar?
Oh, shit. Well, actually, my experiences of meeting people have been while the convention is going on, but they've been like down times.
What about Booger at the bar recently?
I did meet oh shit, now I'm not, what's his name again?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I did it. That's my fault. Respect.
It's like Clint or Cliff or something. Clint or something.
My fault. Anyway,
yeah, I did meet. I met Booger. Said hello. I tried to make a joke, but I don't really think he got it. And so he just sort of like took his, like, okay, good to meet you, and kind of took his drinks and went away. I did. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that same event. You had walked out for a cigarette, and out of the corner of my eye, somebody sat in your chair, and I was about to turn around and tell him, "Excuse me, that's." But before I could get it out, it was Ogre, and so I was just like, "Oh, you can sit there."
You can sit there.
Yeah, I'll let Chris tell you to move. Or we'll
I
just
mean,
talk to you.
that weekend, the Revenge of the Nerds guys were there, and for us, that was really cool because we were huge Revenge of the Nerd fans,
Right.
Revenge of the Nerds fans. Although looking back at that movie, there were certain moments that would nowadays be problematic, I think.
A large part of the movie.
And honestly, if I look back on it then, they were fairly problematic, but we glossed over them for the comedy of it all. But
a different time.
Right, it was. I mean, at the end of the day, we were honored to meet them, honored to be there at the same convention. You know, Booger. I know. Robert Carradine, right? That's his name.
Yes.
And I only really remember his name very well because he's related to David Carradine.
That whole family.
Yeah.
Who is Kung Fu, you know. Mm-hmm. Also, again, some probably problematic. I'm not really sure.
So Chris, you not only do voices, but you also teach.
I do. I put together a workshop quite a few years back, and teaching people about what we do in the world of anime and video games, and really focusing on those two formats of voiceover work, and taking people through the ADR process, building characters in the video game world, and then in the end, we sort of I put everyone in the class. Only take 10 people each round, so it's not like a huge amount of people. And I've found a final scene that we do where we complete a full scene of anime as a class, sort of watch and discuss, and so they really, you know, as you're beginning into the world of ADR work, audio digital replacement, which is what we do in the world of anime, we're replacing our voices with their voices, and teaching people how that process go and what it is to build a character, and you know what that means. So that's basically the class.
And what challenges you? Because that's, I don't know. You say it sounds simple, but I know it's not simple by any means. Building a character.
Well, I mean, you know, I would say in many ways, you know, it's not hard, you know, if you have some aspirations of being on stage and working the world of acting, and you know, you experience theater or some sort of stage like performance, whether it was music or otherwise, you know, you really do have already probably a pretty good footing as to what it is to be a character and to play around that world. I'm just sort of taking some of the acting bits part and really focusing somewhat more on the technical side of things and what it means to be able to bring that acting ability into something that seems to be very technical, which really, it's not that hard. It's not rocket science. You know, it's a pretty easy process. You just need to be able to, one, understand what the process is, and then be able to kind of let go of it and just act.
All right. Because when you do this for both you guys, so you're giving how much direction and how much is you?
I mean, depending, but I like to rely on the director a lot, because sometimes a lot of the time I don't fully know what is happening in the scene, why my character's appearing now, what has happened before, what's about to happen. So I need to really rely on the director to fill in the gaps, as it were. And you make choices, and then sometimes the director is like, you know, let's try a choice that resembles more something like this, as opposed to what you're doing. And sometimes they're like, that's great, I love it, let's continue down that road, you know. So you just got to be aware, and you got to be listening, and you got to be able to be willing to play around a little bit, be willing to make a change. You know, having in that world of improv, and Josh can speak to this as well. There's a big rule in improv: never have a preconceived idea. Like, don't go into a scene thinking you know how the scene's going to go. You know, so just be able to be open and willing to make a different choice. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a collaboration, right? Like he's saying, without direction from the director, and the animation that you're seeing and some of the original audio that you still might hear. You, in addition to all of those things, you have to take your skills and your experience to make a choice. So, sometimes for whatever reason, a director will want it one way. And as an actor, you give it to them. You know what I mean? You give it to them that way. That it's less of a you figuring out what motivation is or whatever. You just do it. And sometimes on the opposite, I was given a super small part, and it was just a guy sitting on a bench in a suit, a bit disheveled. And the scene is the main character runs across the screen, and I notice it. And I got to make it's like barely a sound, right? And Jerry Jewell was the director, and he didn't tell me much. He's like, he didn't know much. He's like, I don't know. This guy is sitting here, and let's watch it. And I watched it, and as an actor, I just made up a quick story that this guy had just gotten fired. He went straight to the liquor store, got a bottle of Jack, drank it all, and now he's drunk on the bench. You know, but that's another example. Have you done anything like that, Chris?
I mean, if I'm doing like a little quick bit part, I don't often give them a full backstory. But
just me.
I mean, I like to play around because honestly, this is my life as well. Like, my life is very much, I live in the moment. I don't have a very good memory for the past. I'm not too concerned about the future. So it's more about right now. And so I just try to play. I really try to encompass what is taking place in the scene, you know, like it's right there in front of you. You know, I mean, it's animated out for you, you know, so
nice.
Play the context of the scene, you know, put yourself in the animation.
There you go.
Hey,
great advice.
So Josh, I think the question everyone wants to know is, what is it like to do a road trip with Mr. Satan?
Oh my gosh.
Probably a lot of work.
Okay, well, I'm going to do the clapper here because this is where you're going to have to start editing. No, I'm kidding. No, listen, it's perfect. It's perfect. Like I said before, me and Chris have been friends for almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years.
Right? We know a lot about each other. We've hung out together. We've worked together. We've partied together. You know, all that stuff. We've gone through, you know, trials and tribulations. We've been there for each other. We've helped each other.
The early days before the Bernie tour, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I was sleeping on the couch at Rager's place.
It was a futon.
Yeah, it was a futon. It wasn't a full couch. Thanks. Yeah, let's make it more dramatic, Chris.
I'm sure you can lay it out. It could be a bed. You know.
I had an Afghan on the hardwood floors in front of the space heater. No. But yeah, and then, you know, me and Chris can sit in silence. We can chat. We can you know, all that. I know when Rager's tired of my music because he puts his earbuds in. You know, but as the driver, I reserve the right to be the DJ, but I also let Rager DJ some. How about you, Chris? What's it like to road trip with me?
Well, I mean, honestly, I love it. I mean, what's great about Josh is that he's, or at least our relationship, you know, I don't know if Josh does this for other people. I assume maybe he does. But Josh is very like aware of where your comfort is. And, you know, like Josh drives. I've taken several road trips with Josh. I have never driven. Never. Because one, I don't like to drive. Josh does. And you know, that works out. You know, he's okay with driving. I'm super okay with not driving. So that really works out. I mean, really, that right there alone is my happiest thing about it. Like, oh, road trip. Thank God I don't have to drive. You know, because I wouldn't go on the road trip if I had to drive. Like, y'all need to send me a 3-hour Uber.
Right.
So, Chris, when's your next class? When can people find out about your next class?
You know, I don't have an official date right now, but if they are interested,
okay.
You can find my number for those workshops on my social medias, my Twitters or X's or whatever the hell you want to call it. My Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. There's a flyer there. Call that number on the flyer. Give me a call, and I will make note, and I will give you a call back when I do have those classes. If I were to guesstimate, I would say end of October, because we're approaching end of September here, and probably a day or two after we're done with this convention we're going to this weekend, I will go back through the people I do have, see who wants to sign up, and then make an announcement and fill out the rest of those spots in the class. I only take 10 people each round, and I bring in other celebrity voice actors and directors who are currently working in the anime industry and video game world. And I have them come and help me teach a class, not unlike Mr. Josh Martin, who has helped me several times, and other people like Monica Rial, J. Michael Tatum, my great engineer, Patrick Morphy. I've you know, basically, if you've been on Dragon Ball Z, you've probably been a teacher in my workshop. So
very cool. Very cool. And then what other Comic-Cons you guys got, or shows coming up, anime shows coming up this year?
Josh?
Yeah, we have an event. We have an event in Dallas.
Booking agents.
That's right. Another thing that works out for us.
Right. Not that I'm completely unorganized. Josh is more organized.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, we got Dallas. What else are we doing? We got a couple coming up.
Coming up?
Yes, at the brewery.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have it on our socials. I'll send you the shot, Carey.
What brewery?
I couldn't tell you right now. I'm sorry.
I got you.
I did a little event, actually met for the first time ever, oddly enough, the voice of Wishbone.
Larry Brantley?
Yes.
You never met Larry before?
I had never met Larry before. All the years.
Wishbone can talk?
You what?
I never really watched it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole gimmick. Oh my gosh.
I didn't realize that the dog spoke.
Yes. He was the main, the dog became George Washington in the story of George Washington, or Abraham, you know what I mean?
So wherever whatever story there, he was a part of that story in some way.
So every time, 7 years ago, Or
That's out here in Dallas, right?
Chris,
Right here in Dallas.
it's so funny. I used to do events with the dog, the actual dog, and
Oh, wow.
the dog had to sit in first class. Carey did not have to get the ability to sit in first class, but the dog,
Ain't that a flip?
but the dog was in first class.
Well, I mean, we're not in first class either, but you know, we often find the opportunity to upgrade to first class.
Yeah.
You know, what I found out through a recent excursion through the airports and the American Airlines and this and that, because we often fly American, is that when they do give you updates and rebates or about upgrading or whatever, those are being offered through the airports, not the airlines.
Huh.
And so if you find a deal you're trying to get through like your American Airlines app, that's being offered through the airport. So if you call the airline, that upgrade is all of a sudden $1,000 as opposed to the 200 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, shit. So based on where you live is those upgrades. So sometimes, you know, one time I got an upgrade on my birthday. I was years ago. I was flying back from Chicago. It was like $90, and I got it when I was at the airport. That's rare. Usually you have to do it beforehand. And I got one of those cubicle. I upgraded and it turned out to be one of those like lay down, you got your own little cubicle kind of thing. Oh my God. Guys, if you've never flown like this, you need to. That'll spoil you like you've never seen before. You can lie down. You know, you got your own like, you know, I mean, often you have little TVs around the airplane, but you have your own little console there. I mean, it's like your own little phone. You can, like, if you don't have a phone, you can call people. It's crazy.
So
Nice.
when are you guys appearing this weekend? Just Friday, or is it Friday, Saturday?
It's
Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, Saturday, Sunday. Okay.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, we drive in, arrive tomorrow evening, and then we'll be there all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I believe it's 10 to 6 and then 11 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Respectively.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Chris, man, it's always good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
It's been my pleasure. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. Well, we will get back to you next week, and we'll let you know if more people came from Midland or more people came from Odessa.
Yes, I'll be taking a poll.
Chris will take the poll. I'll get the information. I'll share the results next week, and we'll find out just how things went.
I'll also be taking the poll from people like, which one do you think is better, Midland or Odessa? And we'll go with that.
Perfect. Well, make sure to stick in for that, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, we will.